My name is Christian. I'm the Director of Intake here at San Antonio Behavioral Healthcare Hospital, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, having been in practice for over 10 years. It's no surprise that parenting a teenager is not a walk in the park. I think we all know that from dealing with challenges with them changing, going through changes in their body, worries about school, maybe having some issues with peers while they are at school or with their friends. You may notice that your teenager, who is normally cheerful and normally getting along well and socializing with family and friends, suddenly morphs into a very argumentative, sometimes moody, or even challenging individual. I'm sure we all remember feeling this way as a teenager, going through some of those ebbs and flows and trying to understand as a parent, is this normal teenage behavior? Are they acting like we did as teenagers, or is this something that we really need to consider if professional help might be needed? If you see that your child is struggling a little bit more than usual with these issues, every individual is different, every child is different, so hopefully we can help to answer some of the questions that are brought forward when trying to find out, is this normal behavior or should we seek professional help? So to help you answer any potential concerns that you may have, there are a couple of questions that we've put together to help you assess how your child might be behaving. Please know that this is not to be used as a fully diagnostic tool. It's really meant as a starting point for parents and guardians who are concerned for their child and looking for resources, information, or even support. The first question you can ask is, does your teen have frequent feelings of being sad, including crying for no concrete reason? So everybody feels sad sometimes, but if your teen often tells you that they're sad, or you've seen them tearing up or crying for no clear reason, that may be a sign of depression. The second question that you can ask is, does your child always seem to be irritated or act annoyed with everyone and everything? We all know hormonal changes and other issues can cause your teen to be grumpier than usual. However, if your once relatively happy teen is suddenly and consistently irritable or seems unable to shake their mood, this could be cause for concern. The next question is your teen suddenly sleeping all the time or hardly at all? So teens are notorious for having their own sleep schedules, and many would prefer to stay up late into the night and sleep in. I know my own teenage daughter prefers that as well. But what you really need to watch out for is changes in your teen's sleeping behavior that may include insomnia or sleeping away much of the day, as well as complaining of feeling tired and not having enough energy to do anything. The next question that you can ask is, are your teen's grades suddenly dropping? So classes in middle school and high school often become more challenging. There's more homework, higher requirements than earlier grades, greater expectations that are also set. So although some teens will struggle with school and their grades may not be as good as before, sudden drops in their academic performance, including numerous failing grades, could also be a red flag that something is amiss. The fifth question you can ask is your teen having angry outbursts? So anger is a normal emotion for people of all ages. With teens, however, it is important to watch for an increase in those angry outbursts that seem to be what we would consider over the top as a reaction. They can also be disruptive and/or result in your teen lashing out physically or taking it out on themselves. An example of this would be self-harming behaviors, which may not always be completely noticeable to the parent. The sixth question you can ask is, are there any nonverbal indicators? Some teens are good at expressing their emotions, and they'll tell you when they're feeling angry, sad, or annoyed. Others will use nonverbal indicators to share their thoughts and feelings. Common examples that are signs for concern include poor hygiene, giving away their possessions, being socially withdrawn, alcohol or drug use, changes in weight, and easily distracted. Question number 7 can be, is your teen self-harming? In an effort to feel less depressed or anxious or distract themselves from their challenges in life, some teens will deliberately harm themselves. While cutting is probably the most common form of self-harm, teenagers may also bang their heads, burn their skin, strangle themselves, or take too much medication on purpose. If your child is always wearing long-sleeve shirts, even in the middle of summer, if you notice new or old cuts on their legs, wrists, or arms, or if they seem anxious, depressed, and have issues controlling emotions, please be sure to take note, as these are all red flags of possible self-harm. Question number 8 is your teen talking about death or suicide? It can certainly be normal for teens to want to talk about death, especially if they have lost a loved one to an old age, illness, or even suicide. Tragic news stories may also cause your teen to ask you questions about death and dying. Talking about their own death, commenting that they wish they were dead, making a suicide plan, or excessively focusing on dying are much more serious and indicate that professional help might be needed. So now that you've gone through some of these questions at home, it's going to be easier for you to determine, hopefully, if your teen is in need of additional help, or if you feel that your teen is actually doing perfectly fine and is having normal teenage behavior. So if you answered yes to 1 to 3 of these questions and don't really resonate or recognize any of these signs in your child, then it may be an indication that your child overall does well, maybe has healthy coping skills, or is able to verbalize and reach out for support when needed. If you find that you identify, or your child may be able to identify with 4 to 5 of these questions, then this is where you want to ask yourself and how to best approach your child so that you can have open communication and a good dialogue, discussion about what are some of the things that they are going through, how they've been feeling, and how you can best be there to support them. Overall, that's what every child wants. They want to know that they are going to be supported by their loved ones. If you're concerned that your child has been able to identify or would be able to identify with 6 or more of these questions, they could be at risk to themselves or others. Now is the time to seek professional help. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free intake assessments to help process and identify what level of care would be most appropriate for your child, how we can help, what resources we can provide. If you feel that they are in a dangerous situation or it is a situation in which they cannot wait, you can always contact your local authority, which includes calling 911 if assistance is needed to be able to get your child the help that they need.